Welcome to the Women's League International Northeast Region Zentangle program. I would like to thank the Central Great Lakes Region Judaica Arts co-chairs, Linda Abraham Braff and Marlene Deutsch, for agreeing to lead us in this program. I would also like to thank our program committee member, Adele Weinstein, for coordinating this program for us. For those of you viewing this video after the fact, please note that you will need to download the file with the dreidel outlines and the supply list in order to get started. I hope that you have as much fun as we did. Enjoy your Zentangling.
Okay, so we're just making these like ladybug shapes. And you're going to move your paper as you go.
And does it matter how big they are?
You don't want to make them too large because we're going to make multiples. We're going to go over them as well. If you see on here, can you see on the top part? This is what we're going to be making. And don't be afraid to move your image because it's much easier to do it that way.
Sorry, should this work on an Android phone too?
I would think so. On Zoom, because it's the Zoom link. And after you have finished that, you're going to come back and you're going to do, it's called an aura, and you're just going to go over it. You want to try to be as consistent as possible with each one.
Excuse me, could you ask whoever's talking to mute themselves, please?
Okay.
So, and this is where I start thinking of quilting designs, you know, that if any of you quilt or sew, this is called echoing, but a lot of the techniques of Zentangle, you've probably seen done in other areas, or if you, you know, you'll start looking at things with different eyes too, tile floors, I've seen garden arbors, different things that you look at it and it's like, that could be a Zentangle design.
Right. Drains, things of that nature. If you see over here where the two of them are kind of touching each other, so when I go to do the next time, I'm going to go up and then bring it down. And that's called Hollybrook. So it's when you go around something, but you're not going through it. And you'll see as you're doing it, it's going to start forming a pattern. Sorry. It's important also not to forget to breathe. Sometimes we get so involved in something and we forget to breathe.
And also, if you ever get a line that didn't work out right, there are no mistakes. There's just design elements. So,
Thank you for saying that.
And also once you put the whole picture together, you know, only you're going to notice. And actually, by the time the Zentangle's done, you're probably going to forget where that wobble was that you weren't happy with, because you're looking at the big picture.
Nothing is perfect. And you see, as you go, some of the circles are going to get, spheres are going to get smaller. And when you get to the part here, sorry, in the center here, you can leave this, you can go as tiny as you want, or you can leave it open as well. And then we can do some shading with a pencil or with our pens. Depends what you're looking for in terms of your image. And again, it's all personal. It's what you would like. When I did this one, I left it and filled it in. But in this one that we're doing right now, I went all the way to the center. Marlene, how are we doing with people?
Good. There aren't any questions yet. So.
Okay. So after you have finished this, you're going to take your marker, and if you have one that's just a tiny bit thicker, you can use it, or just use the one you've been using, and you want to fill in all the ones on the first ones, the bottoms. So you're going to fill each one of these in.
Do you have a favorite marker, Linda?
So I like using the real fine markers. The microns are really nice. And I like using the PN or the ones. Right now I'm using an 8. It's a little bit thicker so that people can see. But you can really use anything. You can use one of the ultra fine Sharpies. You can use a regular pen, any kind of art pen. Just want to use a fine tip when you do your work. And then you can also use colors. So people have been doing this for ages, just the doodling. And this couple, Maria and her husband, and I apologize, I just kind of went blank on his name. She's an artist, she does calligraphy, and he was a monk at one point in his life, and she used to go to these, which I guess she still does. She would go to like craft fairs, and she would be doing her calligraphy and then doing a little design with it, and people really were liking that. And her husband said, you know, well, that looks like, you know, something we can do basically, you know, as a form of meditation, because you sit there and you really get into your work and it's very calming. And they developed this whole program called Zentangle. Prior to that, it's just people just doodling as you did as a kid, and you probably do currently now too, on the telephone or just talking to people. I know when I go to conferences, I'm always doing some doodles. That's kind of keeps me paying attention.
I think I saw this in a coloring book, an adult coloring book.
Yes.
I was given, and it's really good to keep your mind going.
It does. Oh, the gentleman's name is Rick. I'm like losing my mind. It's been a long day.
Right, and just like you got this, dreidel drawing, sent that you could download, but certainly coloring books are great places. You can, later I'll show a couple I did, but you can draw certain designs and then fill them in on your own, so you don't have to feel that, oh, I can't freehand draw a dreidel. You don't need to freehand draw a dreidel. You can draw a grid and fill it in. You can do all kinds of things. So.
And then I just took in my center, I just did a little bit of black right around the center area as well. How are people doing in terms of where they are?
We have a few people showing their work.
Okay,
Looks
I'm gonna.
nice. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a question. Does the artwork come when all of your moons and spaces are even?
It doesn't have to be even. It's, if you look at it and just kind of hold it up in front of you and hold it, which you can't see me doing that, and I apologize. I'm still trying to figure this out. But if you hold your artwork up at a distance, you'll see your design forming. And we'll go to this thing called shading next. So if everyone has their pencils, when you shade, you have many different options on how you want to do it. And again, it's a personal thing. There's no right and there's no wrong. You want to hold your pencil though on the side like this. You don't want to hold it up and down because you're using the side of the pencil. And you're just going to go over, I'm just going over the first arch, the first aura around each one of these. And again, mine are not even. Mine are all different. And then take your finger or a piece of Kleenex, or if you have the Q-tip, and you just want to smear it. And I'm pulling the graphite up. Can everyone see what I just did there, I hope?
Mm-hmm.
And it just gives it a little bit more of a dimension.
It's amazing how that little bit of pencil lead is enough to go down the whole row.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody can see. I can see just looking at my computer, Linda's created a real sense of depth already, just that little bit of black in the middle, and then some of that shading. Doesn't it seem like it's going down?
Put it in the correct direction now.
So just to clarify, you're just using the pencil on one of the rings and then pulling it down to the rest?
Yes.
Or do you ever use the pencil on more?
No, I'm just using the pencil on one of the rings and pulling it down, but you can do a lot of different things. I mean, you can choose to just do the shading in this section and bring it down a little bit and have more white in here. So it's really, I mean, I did it like this because it's the top of my dreidel. So I thought that would give it more of a sense of dimension in there for me. But again, it's a personal choice. There's no right and there's no wrong. Okay, I'm going to move on a little bit because I'm just concerned about time. The next one I'm going to teach you is called Roxy. And what Roxy is, I'm going to actually do it on another sheet of paper first. Blank paper here. Okay, so Roxy, I'm going to do it in a little bit of a thick marker so you can see. We're going to take 2 lines, and then we're going to do a cross line. You're going to bring that line down, almost like a triangle, and then you're going to make an aura. And that's what a Roxy is. Now, you can bend them. You can put it on an angle. So you see, you start forming a pattern like a chain.
It's already looking 3D to me.
Yeah, it starts. And what we did here, if you see, this is the Roxy in here, in the letter. But you see, I kind of formed them up, and then some bend around. So you really can do anything you like with them. And we're just going to fill one of our spaces with the Roxy.
So Lillian says they look like Hamantaschen.
Could you do that?
Yes.
Can you do that again? Just
Yes.
to show us the visual? It's hard to follow.
Yes. Okay.
Bigger, yeah.
So take 2 lines. Okay. Then you're gonna put like a little hat on it, like a T, almost like a pie. Then you're going to bring the line down like a triangle to make form of triangles. And then you're going to just do an aura around it. Does that help?
And how do you do the second part?
So the next one, you're just doing the same exact thing. I mean, you can continue it straight if you want to, and just do the same exact thing. Or you can do a bend, and you can do it on an angle if you want to.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Would you ever have more than one coming off of?
Oh yeah,
one?
you can. In the one example that I had done, that's what I had done. I have them shooting out from, but again, you want to do this hogba, which is where it's going under and over. So you never want to bring it all the way out like that. You want to go under it or over it, but you never want to go through your designs like this. If it happens, it happens. You just try not to make it happen. But yeah, you can do it, you know, any way you want. Like I can kind of take it from the bottom here. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Does that help?
What is the name of this one again?
This is called Roxy. I'm sorry, Rixy, R-I-X-T-Y. So choose one of your areas in your dreidel to do
Can
this.
you just start anywhere in the dreidel?
Yep, anywhere you want. I usually start from the bottom, or from one of the sides. I start from one of the sides so that my end pieces have someplace to go. And you can vary the size. You can have it, okay, so I'm going to do one right now where it's going to be just part, it's going to go off the page. Can you see this, or do you need me to use a thicker marker?
I think it's showing up okay.
Okay.
You know, for some reason, they're reminding me of martini glasses also.
So we're hungry and we're thirsty.
I don't drink martinis, but yeah, I guess with the Hamantaschen and now martinis. However you relate the designs so that you remember them.
Right.
Now, do you ever change the scale of the drawings within one object, or will you keep it to that same scale?
No, it can change. It's again to your preference. If you wanted to do one that was really large, You can do that too within there.
Make it larger like you did before, please.
Yeah, I will do that. Okay, so again, we're going to do 2 lines next to each other, and then we're going to put a top on it. Then we're going to bring a line down, and then we're just going to do an aura, just follow that pattern around. If you want to curve it, you can do that as well. You can have it shoot off like Marlene had asked. And I'm going to go underneath this one.
Yeah, those kind of things are what gives it the 3D look when you're overlapping, you know, that you have the illusion of up in front and behind.
Right. You can make small ones within as well. You can do the larger ones. It's really up to you. You can do them all in similar shapes. They can have some personality. And again, I can't go through the dreidel because it's an actual dreidel. If I was doing a design that possibly I wanted to go into my border, I could bring that out. But since I'm just doing a dreidel, which is a form, I'm going to stay inside and not bring out my image. And you just fill it into what you feel works best for you. If you want it to be completely filled up, then just keep adding more to it. Now I'm just adding a couple of the lines, but not putting any of the triangular shape into it. I'm just finishing it off to the sides.
Everybody's concentrating very deeply on making these.
Yeah.
I'm going through. This is what's fun about this is it gives us permission to doodle and color, because I think we often don't let ourselves do that. We're, you know, busy, we have things to do, and we don't take the time to do this. And yet, you know, those of you who have grandkids probably would sit and color with your grandkids, but not just by yourself. So we're giving you permission.
Yes, bigger.
And if you choose to too, I mean, if you wanted to, once you get this down, if you wanted to go back in and color in just the small areas, either with your pen or with the shading, you see what happens. It gives you a whole new dimension as well. And you don't have to do every single one. You can just do pick and choose which ones you would like to do. And maybe use your pencil, which I'll show you in a little bit as well.
We have somebody who just said that when she goes on vacation, she takes along a adult coloring book and you know, it is a good thing to do when you're traveling, because sometimes it's difficult to concentrate on reading a book. Maybe you just need quiet time, don't want to talk to the people you're traveling with. So, you know, maybe take a sketchbook too, that you can draw your own Zentangle doodles.
And if you wanted to take your pen and make some of your lines a little bit thicker in some areas, you can do that as well.
I think sometimes too, if we think we're not an artist, but we want to do it, we can be intimidated by a blank piece of paper. But, you know, play. I mean, what are you going to lose? One piece of paper if you end up not liking your finished result? And you still will have gotten the benefits of, you know, of looking at something, drawing something, moving your hand, thinking about it. You'll get all those mental benefits, even if you end up not liking your finished piece.
It's just, I find it to be extremely calming.
Don't we all need a lot of that these days?
Yeah, definitely.
Now they really look like Hamantaschen with poppy filling, I think. That center line, that, you know, the double line that you start with, do you always tend to keep that looking as if they connect through, or do you ever go off to the side?
I do a little bit of both. I mean, I like the look of the connection of the movement. It's something I always like, but you can, you don't have to have them connecting.
Mm. Yeah, with them connecting, it looks like those triangles are kind of floating on it, going down sort of a stem.
Yeah.
I had gotten a Papermate flare. I didn't know they still even made flare pens.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but it also works really nicely. It's seems a little softer, or maybe a touch thicker than a fine point Sharpie. Or what do I have? An ultra fine point Sharpie. But and of course, like Sharpies, they come in all different colors too.
Yeah, you have to find what's comfortable for you. And again, if a like a gel pen is better for you, if that's what you like to work with, you can. The idea is just don't want a really thick marker. Want something that has more of a finer line.
But what a nice portable thing to have with you, you know, whether it's a small notepad or a bigger notepad. It's very easy to take it along.
So if you're ready to do a little bit of shading, again, you can do filling in with your marker like I've done there. You can also do, again, with your pencil, holding it on the side. I'm just going to go through some of my stems and just do a little bit. And I'm just going to roll my blender, whatever you're using to blend with. I'm just going to do a little bit around some of these as well. And I didn't put any more graphite onto my piece. I was just using what was on my blender.
And is that actually an art tool, that blender?
So yeah, there's this called stumps, so just like paper stumps.
Can you move it
But
more?
you can
so
use,
we can't see it. Move it.
oh,
Yeah, there you go.
sorry. But you can use a Q-tip, works great. Your finger works great. Paper towel, Kleenex.
Somebody commented that Sharpies have a strong smell to them, which they do. And I just smelled my Paper Mate Flare and I don't smell anything.
Yeah,
So
usually right. They're very, very fine. The ultra fine tips are the best, are better to use than just a regular Sharpie. They don't have as much odor.
yeah.
But yeah, I very rarely use this in my classroom because of the smell.
Okay.
But there's a lot of art pens out there that you can use, as well as, like you said, the flares.
That pen you were using, the Pigma pen, I actually have a set of those that I use for labels for handmade items,
Yeah,
permanent, and they, yeah, with the different thicknesses and the different colors, they're really nice to have.
they are nice.
I don't, I use a 1 or a 5. I don't know if I've seen them as thick as an 8. But
Yeah, so that's what I'm using right now. It's the 8.
yeah.
So I'm just filling in my white spaces right now, some of them. And again, I didn't put any more lead on my little stumper thing here that I'm using. I'm just pulling it from what was already there, so it kind of gives you different values. Does anybody have any questions?
No. What is the pattern on the top called? The first one we did?
That's called crescent moon.
When we first started, you had it in the screen. I could see the whole thing. I can't see it as well now. Having
can't
difficulty.
Hmm.
Could you enlarge it or?
Are you on speaker view?
Yeah, if you put it on speaker view.
Oh, maybe. All right, let me try that. See. Oh, that's better. Oh,
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Linda,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you, I somehow, my, the design on the side, what is that called again?
This one here,
Yeah,
it's Rixty. R-I-X-T-Y.
Rixty. I, somehow mine closed off and they don't go through. I got lost there somehow. Can you show that one more time, please?
Sure.
Well, and Joan, maybe you created a new Zentangle
I
design.
did, see?
Exactly, you did.
I like
Oh,
it.
I love it. I like that. Okay, so you're going to take your line, your 2 lines, okay? You're going to put a top on it, and you're going to make a little triangle on both sides. Then you're going to follow that triangle and do an aurora around it. Does that help, Joan?
I think it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Interesting.
Okay, and for when we go to the last one, you're going to need your pencil for the last large space.
So what else can you use besides a pencil to do the shading? Can you use charcoal or?
You can, you can use, yeah, you can use charcoal. A pencil holds a little bit better than charcoal because of the mess it makes. So the pencil stays on better, I think, than the charcoal does. But you can use like a charcoal pencil opposed to like a stick charcoal. They do make those. You can do it with a little bit of color and smear it as well. You can do that.
Color from a colored
Like a
pencil?
colored pencil. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so somebody's just now asking about colored pencils. So they would,
Right.
they would shade okay also?
So you have, yeah. It's a little bit different though. You have to, you have to really put it down thick on the line so that you can then smear the color. If you put it down too lightly, then the color won't smear as well. But again, you can do whatever you want. It's your piece, and it's what makes you happy and what works best for you and what you're most comfortable with.
And again, you could just try whatever writing implements you have at home and
Yeah,
see what works and
exactly.
how it looks. And
I mean, like when I'm in a meeting, I have a pen, a regular pen. So, I'm just doodling with a regular pen. Okay. Just a couple more minutes, and then going to move on because I don't want to run out of time. And then we can go, if we have extra time, we can go back. And then when we do this, you're thinking about, gratitude and being thankful for the things that you have going in your life. Okay, I'm going to move on. And then, like I said, we can always go back. But on the one side of the dreidel you have left, you want to take your pencil, and again, we're making strings, but we're going to make very specific strings. We're going to divide, and they can be curved a little bit, but I'm going to make 4 sections in my dreidel. And then
for
you
the
pen
people
them.
who are doing it on the dreidel that has letters on it,
No.
you would just pretend the line goes behind the dreidel?
Correct.
I mean, the letter?
Yes, I understood. Yeah, just go behind. And that technique of going behind is called Hollybach.
Wasn't there a Zentangle named that too? Or-
Yes, there is. And that's what the Zentangle is.
Oh,
It's going in, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's going under.
okay. Actually, I'll show later, I'll show my hide.
Yeah.
my finished cut.
Right, which we did the hollyhock and the high, yeah.
That's what that is, yeah.
Yeah.
The background lines.
Okay, so you want to take your pen again. I'm going to show you again on a sheet of paper first. Okay, so this is called, it's a Shattuck, S-H-A-T-T-U-C-K. And what that is, you're going to take, oh, sorry, wrong one. You're going to go to an angle and you're going to take lines. You're just going to kind of curve in. Does everybody see that?
It's hard to see your pencil lines, but
Oh, okay. Let me. Sorry about that. Okay. Is that better?
yes.
All right. And then you're going to go in the other direction. And then you're going to repeat it.
And there's no set number of lines that you're doing?
No, I do like usually 4 or 5. And sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, depending on filling in the space. They can be very close, they can be further apart. And then when you come back in, you just continue your pattern.
Okay.
Really straight. Can you,
Can you put it back again, please?
Yes.
could you,
Sorry.
way across. 1, 2.
So you just picked dividing that into 4 just
Yes, we're doing
that-
4.
because you decided that, but it could have been 5 or is
Yeah,
there-
I think it just on the, when I was doing the design on the dreidel, yeah, it could be 5 too. I think I did 5 originally, 4 to 5. I think for tonight, because we were kind of be pressed a little bit for time, I was trying not to do it too involved.
Tell them you can't talk now, you're Zentangling. You know, I can envision that people will be taking plain craft paper and designing their own wrapping paper for Hanukkah gifts for tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Makes great note cards. Send a note to somebody, just put a little design on it.
That's a cute idea.
Could just be free-form shapes and then just entangle inside of it.
You could decorate a cake with frosting lines.
Yes. So when we went online in March, my kids had absolutely no supplies at home because it was like all of a sudden we were in school and then we were not in school. And I had them do a lot of Zentangling projects where they would have to Zentangle an animal. So they would draw an animal and then the animal, everything was completely Zentangled inside. They did flowers and trees. Because everybody had a pen or a pencil at home and it didn't matter, and just any kind of paper. I had one kid do it on a napkin because they had no paper in their house.
What do your students think about this? Do they tell you that it helps calm them, or
Yeah, they initially they balk at it. Like, why do you want us to do this? And I go through the different designs they can do. And then they also have to make up some of their own designs besides using the ones that I've taught them. My elementary kids, when I used to teach elementary, you could hear a pin drop in the room when they were doing this. Their concentration was unbelievable. And they just kind of get into a relaxing mode. And especially with the kids that I work with, it's very therapeutic.
I was going to say, sometimes you can hear a pin drop with all of us working so hard, but everybody else is muted. So that's probably so quiet.
But it's true. You kind of get into a certain sense of a mode when you're working.
Lillian says that she calls this moving line art with her.
Oh, I love that. That's great, Lillian.
Moving line.
I might have to steal that for my next class with my kids. You do.
Lillian says we can steal that from her
Thank you.
or borrow it.
Yeah, we'll borrow it. We'll have to give you credit for it, Lillian.
I was just going to ask Lillian Tolensky what she taught, and she taught art to 8th grade students.
Oh,
And we're getting sisterhood women who are now feeling addicted to doing this.
that's good. Yeah, Marlene and I are doing one for a Cleveland sisterhood in next month, and then we're going to be doing one with my sisterhood again in February.
There's a woman in my sisterhood, actually she's one of the co-presidents this year, who has an art background, and she did a Zentangle type thing one night for us, and that's one of the ones I'll show later. You know, different people have different approaches too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Try different
So-
things, different ways.
Sure. And there are, I mean, I am not a certified Zentangle teacher. I've just been doing Zentangling for years, but there is, you can become a certified Zentangle teacher,
Wow.
and it's taught a lot differently than what I do. So it's much more formal in terms of the different steps.
But you've
So it's
made
a
it
whole,
very easy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
it's a whole course to get certified.
Yes, it
Wow.
is.
If only we had thought of this. We've all been doodling one design or another. I tend to be a swirl or circle doodler. And, you know, if only we'd put names to it and written.
Exactly.
workbook.
Written a couple books. Right. There's a lot of books out there about Zentangling. There's a lot of different videos on YouTube. And everybody comes at it a different approach.
So this last design you did, there's a free motion quilting design called a rainbow, and another one called a bishop's fan that this is very reminiscent of.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the technique of putting it down is different, but
The pattern.
yeah, like I said, different, you know, whatever crafts you're into or different things you're interested in, you do start looking at things. On a walk a few months ago, I saw somebody's trellis, and right, it's like, okay, that could be a quilting design. You know, you'll look at it
Right.
now and think that could be a Zentangle design.
Right. Like crates on the roads. The sewer.
Yeah.
And the caps. I mean, it's just wherever you look. Clothing.
That's good for your brain too, that you're looking at things in a different way.
Yeah. But even your clothing, I will have my kids look at what they're wearing or things around the room and point out what they feel is a repetitive pattern.
Hmm.
Okay, and then to do the shading on this, you can just kind of go up the centers if you want to, the lines. It's one way of doing it. And I'm just going to smudge it along that line. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit around the edge as well. And again, I'm not putting any more lead on my picture. Just to give it a sense of some dimension, that it feels like it's not a flat side anymore. You can go in, you can do it inside if you want to. You can actually Zentangle within a Zentangle if you wanted to put in any designs like within here. You could come back in again. I kind of like it the way it is, but people go back in and do other designs within designs sometimes depending on what they're making.
As I'm going through, a lot of people's heads are down and they're concentrating. So.
And I apologize for moving you on so quickly, but I'm trying to be cognitive of the time for everybody as well. So I'm just going to move on right now to the stem part of the dreidel, the spinning part. Hold on to the handle. So I just did a little drawing here so you can see it a little bit larger. What we're going to make now is called Zander, Z-A-N-D-E-R. And what Zander is, what you're going to do is you're going to, and I apologize because I need to do this upright right now, but let me just get it started. Okay, so you're going to make these a little handle, and you're going to bring a band around. So it's going to be kind of like a band. Let's just do a single one. I think I like the single one better. So let's do 2 singles, one after another like that. So you can do, I'm just going to do one on here. Well, you could do 2 if you want, like one up higher, one a little bit lower. Okay. And then you're going to take your lines. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a space there and then just come up. And you're just going to follow that pattern that you started. They can be very close together. I'm not doing it that close with mine because my markers that I'm using right now is a thicker marker. And actually, then I'm just going to do straight lines through here because it's the top of it. So it gives you that sense of a dimension. So I'm going to show you on my dreidel now. So you can see it with a little bit thinner marker. Okay, so these are a little bit thinner. Well, my lines are a little bit thinner, closer together. And I apologize. I always do that. I always forget to go inside. So I'm just going to clean that up.
I'm sorry, the
Just
lines.
stop. They can go
line.
inside. Yeah. Inside. It's almost like if you're putting together hay, barrels of hay. So there's inside those lines. And those lines can be closer together.
Okay, so you wouldn't leave the space between your
Right.
lines.
Right.
You would continue it on through.
You would continue on. But if you wanted to leave it and just do a solid band, you can. These bands can be closer together. I kind of made them a little wide on that one. But you see on this one, they're very close together.
Could you just hold it up to the screen so we can see a little bit better? There you go. Ah.
Makes it look kind of like wood.
Exactly. So if you were doing like a tree, this might be, Zander might be a good thing to use to give it that wood feeling. That's another example. And the last two that I'm going to show you kind of like for the background, I mean, very easy to do.
Are you also going to suggest things for the hey and the shin?
Yes,
For people who did the letters?
yes.
Or I don't understand what the gap in the middle of the handle is.
Okay, so that's kind of like for shading, like light coming through if you want, or you can just do the whole thing. You don't have to do that. You can just bring them all the way down if you want to. But we can put some shading in there with the pencil. So you can just take a little bit of your pencil again and go through and then just smudge again with, oh, sorry about that. My battery, give me 1 second.
There we go.
Give me a second here. Let me get this in here. Sorry about that. You know what? I'm just gonna take that more. Can you spotlight just me, Joan? Okay, well, I got it back. Technology. Okay, we got it again. Okay, we're back. And then just decide where you want to smudge it down. And I'm just going to fill in the top with a little bit of the graphite that's left on my smudger. Okay. If you were doing the letters, let's see, I think I have one. There you go. That's better. Okay. So if you're doing the letters, there's a couple different things that you can do. I really like dots. I just think they're really fun. So this is called triple, TRIPPLE. And what that is just making circles, all different sizes in there. They can be touching each other. You can leave some space in between if you want a little bit. And then in between, you're going to put little baby circles in. Again, yours are going to be not as filled in as mine because I'm using a very thick pen. But when you're using a fine tip, they're going to be very small.
And in quilting, this is called pebbles.
There you go. So it's going to look like, you see that? So that's the pattern. And you can, if you want to, you can just fill in one letter, which is what I did on here. I had one I just filled in solid, the other one with the pattern.
Now, do you usually outline the letter? In this case, would you outline it so it stands out better, or?
You can. Again, that's a personal choice. So if you want to outline it, you can. On this one, I did not, because I thought it spoke for itself because of what the pattern that it was on. If it might have been on a pattern that was a little darker, maybe I would want to do that. Maybe do it in a color so it stands out, or a metallic pen.
That's where some thought into, well, what designs are touching each other?
Yes.
Maybe so that you have a variety so it stands out.
Correct. So the last two things I want to show you, just real quickly, something called mist. And what that is literally you just take line. Now they can be curvy line, they could be curvy line, or it could be a straight line. You're just going to take them down in different lengths. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole page because I want to show you. And then you're going to take some dots.
It's off the edge of the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Sorry about that. You can take some dots coming down. And that's your mist. On the bottom, which is a kind of a neat thing to do, which was going to make it look like maybe a plant, is called Fusca, Fescu. And that's basically, again, it's just a line, but you can put like a little bit of a seed on the top of it. I'll show you that larger so you can see it. So just a line and like a little seed at the end. And they can kind of intersect each other.
I need to pull it a little closer to you, Linda.
Oh,
No.
sorry. There you go. So again, it's a line with a little seed pod at the edge. And they can kind of intersect. They could be all different sizes. And the thing that's nice about that, if you're doing something, it can just kind of be real simple.
Is this last one Fescu?
Yes.
And the one before it was mist, just like a rainy mist?
Yeah, M-I-S-T, correct.
Just putting them in the chat.
Just to kind of give your page a complete look.
Now, do you, oh, I was just going to say, do you tend to keep the little seed pod on the same side? But now that one you just did, put one on the other
Yeah.
side.
And if you want to do any shading again, you can do shading by just coming up. So for this one, I like doing it a little bit just like on the bottoms. I'll show you. And just make it kind of puts in like some dirt in the grass. And with this, you can also do a little bit just coming down. And again, this is just with what I had from the bottom.
Beautiful. Are there any questions? Anybody have?
No questions?
No more questions?
Everybody's very quiet and
Yeah.
So somebody wants to know, can you fill in the bands created by the shattuck on the handle?
Yes, you can. And if people want to share so we can see what we're doing, that would be lovely.
Would you want to take it off of the your main
put
screen?
It on, yeah, put it
And then
back
also,
onto view.
somebody wondered about the 8x8 paper, but I think that was like if you want to draw this on your 8x8 paper, is that?
Yeah, yeah. If you wanted to do your own drawing, we had decided, yeah. But you can do it small. A lot of these are beautiful.
I see Marsha's and Leah's.
Oh, these are beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, these are gorgeous. Can I take a screenshot of some of these?
sure.
Can everyone put them up? I'm going to do 2 screens though.
Will you send that to me, please?
Could you see what they look like, please?
Everybody hold yours up. Marion, hold yours up.
Oh, mine's terrible.
Oh, no.
Oh, nobody's is terrible.
No.
Oh, it's too awful.
Okay,
Now,
this is-
would you tell that to a friend of yours who showed her picture? Would you say it looks awful?
No.
These are absolutely gorgeous.
Just
Mom, I want to see yours.
Okay, I'm going to do the second screen. Hold
just
on.
wanna
I'm going to do the
I
second
wanna
screen.
see-
Keep holding your pictures
I
up.
just want to see other people's.
Mom, where's yours?
Oh, these are beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Got it.
Linda, could you just?
So I wanted to show when our region did this a couple of months ago, or was it this summer? Gosh, it was
This summer.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Linda taught us
Gorgeous.
The high is beautiful.
so the yud has the same design, we learned tonight, and the fescue and the shattuck.
Uh-huh.
But some of these this is like a mushroomy look. Anyway, they're different. And then, for you to just practice and play, like this was just, like a squiggly line and then X's, and it's kind of, again, I put things in terms of quilts, but you fill in different designs. But then, you can just take one.
Hold that up again. I'm going to pin you so you're bigger.
Okay.
So everybody can see that. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
And then, we learned how many different designs today, Linda? 5, 6?
Yeah, about 6, yeah.
So I think I might have mentioned I like swirls, and I did a swirl, and I just did, it's kind of like the one design Linda showed us, only without curves. It's just straight lines. But I just filled the whole thing in with one design. And, it's simple, I think it makes a nice end result. So you can do lots of designs, do, you know,
Yeah.
just a shape with one design.
And
That's-
Shari, that's beautiful.
Yes.
I
Wonderful.
love that.
And Marlene, if you would send me pictures of the,
Don't you see?
Oh, Adele, nice.
Adele, hold yours up.
oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Very
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us.